What is happening, y'all? Here we are for another Sunday morning, guys. It's week 12 already. We're already getting down to that nitty gritty, down to that wire, down to the end. I mean, it's we're already going to be starting to talk about dino moves in the off season and everything like that, which I can tell you I'm pretty excited about. I love me some dino football as well. But let's get started with the introductions here. We got first my man on my left, my steady rock, my guy. We got at Justin FF_. What's happening, my man? How we doing today?
Oh, good morning. I'm doing wonderful. I've been doing a lot of work around the house, so it's nice to be able to take a break from that and watch some football today. And it feels really good to be on with Joe this morning. It's been a long time since we've done a show together. So
yeah.
So yeah, I'm ready to rock.
Yeah, definitely. And then that brings me to my next guy right here, filling in for our man Alex, who is out today. He just kind of had some stuff coming up. We got our man Joe Knows, who's on us for his second hour today. What's going on, my man?
Just keeping it real, guys. I'm back from vacation. We went out to California to visit my wife's family for Thanksgiving and came back yesterday. So we're back in the cold Northeast here in New Jersey. And but, I like it. It's feeling more and more like real football weather. We're getting to that ground and pound type of weather that I really, really love. So it's feeling good. Always good to be back home. And it's good to be here with you guys and the viewers.
Absolutely. Well, guys, as we always say, let's hit that like, subscribe, hit the bell, give us that 5-star review, all that fun stuff. Go to toiletsandtitles.com. Guys, I'm telling you, the articles that are on there are just next to none. These guys are amazing. They're very, very good at what they do. You're going to want to get in on that. And then you're probably going to want to hop on over to the Patreon that we got over here, /toilets to titles. That's how you get into the Discord chat that we got going on. It's always rocking. It's always rolling. We have a lot of fun on there. Most of our guys are pretty well geared into that final clutch. So there isn't a whole lot of activity going on there right now, but go ahead and join us and let's go start some more football talk in there because we can never have too much of that. And definitely always appreciate more and more people in there because the more people there are, the more fun we can have right there. So, okay, we're just going to quit all that stuff right there. We're going to go ahead and get into the show, guys. So we're going to start this out. We do have one question that kind of cracks me up, but we'll get to this one first. We got at C English 61. He says, Jerry Jeudy, he's out targeting Sutton. He's got Ty Johnson, Coleman and Carter are missing time. Or Justin Jefferson, the wide receiver 1 against the 49ers. Who are we starting, guys?
What were the options again? I lost you for a second. What were the options?
We got Jerry Jeudy, Ty Johnson, and Justin Jefferson. Yep.
But if these are all 3 options, this isn't even a choice. It's Justin Jefferson by a landslide, right? Like, I don't understand.
Unless there's another Jay Jefferson that we're not thinking of on the Vikings who are playing the 49ers today.
Yeah, so Jerry Jeudy is out targeting Sutton, and he also is a much better wide receiver. So I obviously see that. I'm not now down there at the bottom. It says Ty Johnson with Coleman and Carter missing time. I'm pretty sure that Tevin Coleman is playing today, and they're talking about him potentially taking the main role there with Ty Johnson doing his typical receiving back work. So regardless, I don't care how much work any of those other guys are getting. It's Justin Jefferson all day.
Yeah, I agree. You can't sit that guy. He's one of those studs that you just, you can't get away from right there.
Yeah. And you know what? You kind of, in my opinion, you kind of want to, I think regardless, stay away from Ty Johnson, to be honest with you. I think I picked him up twice this year just because I needed someone at a given time. And I think including last week, and I got burned. So I just wouldn't even have Ty Johnson on my radar. And did someone say just a little while ago that Jeudy is better than Sutton?
Yeah, a lot of people have. I say that.
Sacrilege. That's sacrilege.
Said that for a long time.
That's sacrilege.
You know what? I probably would have said that last year before Jeudy was even on the team.
Get out of here. I think Judy's good. I think he's a good wide receiver. I like him, but I'm a big Cortland Sutton man myself. But yes, the answer is Justin Jefferson.
The number 1 Broncos fan. I like Cortland Sutton a lot. But
hey, speaking of the Broncos and speaking of us giving each other a hard time, I gotta throw this out there to our man Rich, who's in the chat. I made sure to wear this hat because I wasn't sure who was going to fill in for who this morning. So just in case Rich was coming on, but I see he's in the chat. So wanted to make sure that he saw that. I'm not a Broncos fan. Obviously, I'm a Manning fan. That's why I have the hat. But this was just for you, Rich.
You know,
We
and
love
I'm
it.
filling
We
in for
love it.
Alex. I'm filling in for Alex, who's a Packers fan, but I don't. And I no disrespect to the Packers, but I don't have any Packers gear.
Yeah.
We got Orlando, I think is something. We're going to just call it that. We got Antonio Gibson versus Seattle, Devonta Smith at New York, Miles Sanders at New York, Tyler Lockett at Washington. We got to start two guys in standard league. And boy, it's been a minute since I've had a standard question.
I think I'm still going to stick with Gibson here. I mean the matchup isn't ideal, but it's also not bad against Seattle. And then, as much as I hate to sit a running back, I really like Tyler Lockett against Washington or Devonta Smith against the Giants. But I think I'm going to lean towards Lockett in this one. I would go personally. I would go Gibson and Lockett, but this one's a great question.
Yeah, that is a great question. Me, myself, I'm actually, first of all, right off the bat, first one I'm locked in on is Tyler Lockett, because the other ones, Antonio Gibson, Devonta Smith, Miles Sanders, I think there are question marks there. But I think Tyler Lockett is, if he's playing and if Russell Wilson's fingers are okay, I think he's going to get his targets. So I like that a lot. And Washington's secondary is not very good. And between the other three, I think I'd go with Miles Sanders. And that's scary because Philadelphia's they've been pounding the ball successfully for like the past 6 weeks now, but they've been doing it with 3 or 4, like 3 different running backs, including Sanders now that he's back. But man, you know what? I'll go with Miles Sanders in this. That's tough, but if this were me picking, I'd go definitely Tyler Lockett. The second one, I'll go with Miles Sanders. So I think Philadelphia is going to be able to pound the ball against the Giants, not asking too much there. And I think Sanders coming back from injury is, I assume he's going to get his share of carries. So I'll go with that one.
And Rich is saying Gibson and Sanders in the chat. So we have a 3-way tie that kind of
it all makes sense.
So for me, I think Gibson's the guy we're all kind of like leaning more towards, that we can all, like, I think 3 out of 4 of us agree on is Gibson against Seattle, because I really like that matchup. And I actually agree with you, Justin. I really like Tyler Lockett at Washington. Washington has been looking better, but I feel like Russell Wilson is going to start hitting that pace, that gear where he hits about mid-season, end of season, and really starts bombing touchdowns. And I think Tyler Lockett's going to be a huge part of that. So being that it's standard, Miles Sanders, I don't really want to depend on for a touchdown. Devonta Smith, I feel like he's almost a guy that you can lean on a little bit there, but at the same time, in standard league, I'm not liking him as much as I'm liking him in a PPR. So Antonio Gibson for me and Tyler Lockett as well. That's who I'm.
You know what? I want to change it to Antonio Gibson and Lockett as well. I'll change Sanders to Gibson. So Gibson and Lockett. You're right about Gibson. He's going to be getting the carries for Washington. There's no doubt about that. Miles Sanders, we don't know who's going to get carries in Philadelphia. So definitely, Gibson and Lockett. I agree.
We can add Nate to that too, because he says Gibson and not Sanders. So we'll just say that he means Lockett. So, Uncle Steve.
Morning, Uncle Steve.
In the chat. Good morning, buddy.
Hey, Steve.
Oh. All right, we got Artie 2658. He says, which running back does he sit in week 12? Help. Carolina McCaffrey, Atlanta Patterson, Jack Robinson, Cavalier Hunt.
This is this actually Nate's alter ego, his burner account, coming up with nicknames for all these guys. All right, so he says he needs to sit one of those guys. I mean, I'm going to sit Patterson because there's a chance that he may not even play anyway. He is a game-time decision with an ankle injury. The last time he played on that ankle injury, he did not play very well. I mean, the dude only scores touchdowns, which you hate to put those touchdowns on your bench, but with all the question marks, you have 3 other really good options here. Just play it safe.
I agree. I would have to sit out of those. I'd have to sit Patterson.
Yeah, Patterson. I'm not excited about Hunt today, but I feel like Patterson's that injury is a little bit more tedious than Hunt's, but only by a bit, just because of the re-aggravation factor and everything like that. So for me, I do know Patterson. I think I just read that what Steve said. Everything I'm looking at looks like Patterson is a go, but he's, like I said, he's one of those, he's on one of those injuries that you can just play 2 plays and be gone for the day. As I understand, Hunt is as well, but I think there's just a little bit less of a factor, and he's had a little bit more recuperation time. So I'm sitting Patterson as well.
And my thinking too on that as well with Hunt and Patterson, I get it. I mean, I almost said Hunt, just because Patterson's been such a big factor for the Falcons. But thing with Hunt too is that, and why I'm choosing Hunt over Patterson is that Cleveland is very successful with the run game, and they're going to have to run. Mayfield can't pass. They really don't have any wide receivers. They must run the ball, and they've been very successful behind that offensive line. So even though Hunt's going to be playing for the first time, I don't know, like 4 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever it is, they've got that game is, that running game is so powerful that, I'm assuming he's going to have some level of success. And Patterson, like Mike was just pointing out, it's an injury that can be re-aggravated at any time. So I think Hunt is the safer play.
Excellent. We got John Bowen says 1 flex and 1 super flex. McLaurin, Wentz, Heineke, or Aaron Jones, full PPR.
Well, Heineke is going to be the super flex for me, obviously, because, I mean, if you have the option for a decent quarterback that can score decent points, you're going to throw him in the super flex. And Heineke has proven that he can definitely rack up some fantasy points. And then probably, I think I'm going to go because I don't like that matchup for Wentz, by the way. I shouldn't just overlook Wentz in this situation. I just don't like their matchup today. But I think I'm going to stack. I'm going to go with Heineke and McLaurin and go for the stack, because that Aaron Jones injury is still, like, he says he wants to play. The team is saying that they don't know. He's going to be game time decision. I think he's going to play, obviously. But Dylan has proven that he can step in and be a reliable back. So I think Dylan still takes a lot of carries from him. So I'm going to go with the stack, Heineke and McLaurin.
I'll go with Heineke for the super flex, and also going against Seattle's defense, which is not very good. And like Justin just pointed out, Heineke's proven that he's capable of putting up some pretty good fantasy points. So I'll take Heineke with the super flex, and I'll go Aaron Jones. Is there really a reason not to go with Aaron Jones? I realize he's going against the Rams defense, but I don't know. He's a heck of a running back, and the Packers just seem to make things work anyway. So I'll go with Aaron Jones as my flex.
If he does play, which I think he will, it is very difficult to bench him for sure.
Yeah. So I'll go, assuming he's playing, I'm going with Aaron Jones as my flex, and Heineke is my super.
And I'm leaning towards you, Justin, on this one as well. I'm leaning Heineke and McLaurin here. I do like that stack. Sitting Aaron Jones is crazy, but until I see him come off that injury and what the kind of usage they're going to give him today, I feel like they could put him on a limited snap count, and only because of how good A.J. Dillon's been playing the past few weeks without there. And I mean, even before Jones went down, I was really liking what I was seeing out of Dillon anyway. So we got a coach that loves Dillon a lot. I think they're going to nurse Jones back in. Now, that said, is Jones a guy that can get out there and get a couple of touchdowns? Absolutely. But it's going to take that for him to have, I think, a good, decent fantasy day. I just don't see the volume there. McLaurin, he's just a target monster in a game where I feel like there's going to be quite a bit of scoring going on. So for me, it's McLaurin and Heineke there as well.
Hey, I kind of teased on Twitter that we would discuss a little bit about the weather situations for today, and I mostly did it because I noticed that from what I'm reading, there are absolutely no major weather issues to worry about for this week. So I knew that'd be quick. So being a person that lives in Florida, I can actually talk about this in detail right here, because this is how I live my life, right? Like most days I wake up and weather is not going to be an issue. It's not going to be cold. It's not going to be hot. I guess I take that back. In August, it does get pretty hot. So you got me there. But for the rest of the year, I'm pretty well, never in a hoodie. Like Joe over there and looking at the dead trees in the background and stuff like that. So I'm just telling you, we're going to treat today's football like Florida. Like we're all in. Yeah, Joseph asking, Hilton or Bourne and Standard? What are we looking at here?
Well, it's a Frankenstein question.
That's a good Frankenstein question.
I need my final wide receiver for this week. I've got Tyreek Hill, who's on a bye. He's got his bye, and I've got 2 of the wide receivers who are injured.
So typically, because you wrote Standard in there, so typically I would probably say T.Y. Hilton, just because if there is a weakness in that Buccaneers defense for the Colts to go after, it's going to be in the passing game, and Wentz and Hilton do have some kind of a connection there when they're both playing and both healthy. So I do think that Hilton will have a decent game. But you throw in Frankenstank, now we're looking at those long bomb potentials, which is where Bourne comes in, and he only has a few of them this season, but I mean, if he gets one, he automatically is your Frankenstein guy, and you're going to wish you would have started him. So, but also when we're talking about the Patriots, they're playing the Titans this week, and it's going to be tough to get anything going with that run game today. So I kind of feel like I'm going to lean towards Bourne here in a Frankenstein format.
I think that the weather conditions that Indianapolis will be facing today, I'm going to lean Bourne. But no, for real, I really like how much this guy's been getting used and how often he's getting used in the scenarios. I really like Bourne this year. I think between him and Jacoby Myers, they're stringing together a pretty decent little season there quietly. They're not really getting out there ahead of things, but I don't feel like Hilton's the guy that they're throwing to anymore. I feel like that's Pittman. Give me Bourne. I like that. And I like his chances of scoring a little bit more.
Joe, are you playing against me?
Are we playing?
I don't know.
I didn't check my opponent.
If you're playing against me, I'd go Hilton. Otherwise,
I guess I'm doing Bourne right now.
Okay.
It's funny because I'm playing Predator Matt, and he has like just a stacked ass team, and I'm like, I'm gonna face you, I'm gonna tear you up, dude. And so I start David Montgomery, and I can't even remember who else, but combined they got like 12. Oh, Cole Beasley, and so combined they got like 13 points. I'm like, dude, I benched all my quarterbacks right away. I'm like, oh nope, we're out.
So just so the listeners know, 13 points in Frankenstein is like 4 or 5 points in most.
It's like 0 points in most leagues. It might as well be a goose egg. We got Uncle Steve with one. He says he's got to win out to even have a shot. We got Javonte Williams or Dontrell Hilliard today. This is actually a pretty common one on the Twitter today too, as well. What do you got there, Justin?
I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to get away from Javonte Williams. I know Williams is in that split backfield back there, but Hilliard hasn't traditionally done enough to make me excited about him. So I think I'm going to go with Javonte Williams here. And Williams is definitely back. So the only reason anybody would hesitate is because of the split. So when given the opportunity, I think even half of the carries, he's going to equal more than a Hilliard.
Yeah, I like Javonte Williams. I think he's safer even with the split.
And see, I'm going to go with Dontrell Hilliard, and there's only one really weird reason why I'm doing this, and that's because this is going to be the first time old Mel Gordon's going back to his old house with a full capacity crowd and everything like that. I think that you see coaches allow these players to have revenge games when they have the opportunity to have revenge games. I feel like Melvin Gordon's got some revenge. He wants to lay down on that Chargers crowd and just show everybody how good he still is and everything like that. So I feel like this is going to be a heavy Melvin Gordon day. In fact, DFS alert, get that guy out there. He's pretty cheap.
Also, I read this morning on the Sleeper app that Donta Foreman is going to get the majority of the carries for the Titans this week. So I feel like you're going to see a whole lot of Foreman over Hilliard.
I like the pass catching back in the situation that we're talking about with Tennessee, just because if Derrick Henry's running, I love their running game. If Derrick Henry isn't running, I think the Tennessee Titans aren't going to get, but I doubt they get under 200 yards today. I mean, they lost everybody on that team. There's nobody to throw to of any value anymore. Julio Jones is out. AJ Brown's out. Derrick Henry's out. I mean, there's no options there anymore. So that's exactly what I'm saying right there, Steve. Hilliard had 10 targets last week. I foresee something like that happening again this week. The volume's going to be there in a PPR, whereas, like I said, with Javonte Williams, I really think it's going to be a Melvin Gordon day. I think he's going to smash, and I think they're going to let him smash.
All right. Now, if I can find where I was at, there we go. We got the rolling on the floor waffles 43. He says Kareem Hunt is coming back. Gives him a big dilemma in a couple leagues. In the first one, so we'll crack this first one first.
He has Ty Johnson flexed, and the other he has Devonta Freeman. So in the first one, are we playing Ty Johnson or Kareem Hunt?
Hunt.
Hunt. Yep.
I agree.
Well,
I'm on the Hunt train too. I do like Ty Johnson a little bit, but
he said he has Ty Johnson flexed. The other is Devonta Freeman. So I'm not sure if maybe he needs two here.
no, this is for two different leagues.
Yeah.
Oh,
so the first one, in one he has Ty Johnson in the flex. Should he play him over
I
that?
see what you're saying.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well, honestly, it's Hunt for me over both of those guys.
Same here. Yep. Okay.
Yep, same
That's
here.
a double right there. Yep. I might not like Hunt that much today, but I sure like him over Freeman and Johnson.
Yeah.
We got TN Fat Boy House says pick 2 Kareem Hunt or pick 2 of the 3 Kareem Hunt, Miles Sanders, Javonte Williams. So who we benching, boys?
I think I'm going to bench Sanders. I don't want to do it, but I think I'm going to. I agree. With Hunt, there's too much of that. What could happen? Like if he's given the ball, he could very easily break it at any moment. He's Nick Chubb light, so you have to start him if you have him. And I've already expressed my love for Javonte Williams. He's the more talented back between him and Sanders.
Yeah, and really, you're looking at Javonte Williams. How many other running backs is Javonte Williams splitting carries with? Melvin Gordon, Miles Sanders can be conceivably be splitting carries with 2 other running backs. So, he could be the feature back. He probably will. I don't know, but I would sit Sanders. I'd go with Hunt and Javonte Williams.
And so for me, I think a guy I'm actually sitting here is Hunt. I completely agree. This guy doesn't need a whole lot of volume or a whole lot of usage to be quite effective and get you a lot of fantasy points. At the same time, I think that we're going to see a little bit more Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams on the field today than Kareem Hunt. Like I said, that coming back from the injury, it's very specific scenario. So you're seeing me kind of jump from one side of the fence to the other on this. But when we're having a guy that's not injured coming back against a guy that's injured, it's a little easier for me to kind of fade the guy, which is Hunt in this instance right there. So, and see, Rich is saying bench Williams. So you got, and then Nate says always bench Sanders. So I like that. I have a rule like myself. That's the Never Gaskin rule. And that rule pays off dividends every single season. We got Mr. Meg saying Ayuk or Hollywood Brown PPR. And I'll go ahead and lead this one off, man. With the resurgence of Ayuk, I really am liking him. And another thing that I've seen in Baltimore that I think if you're noticing trends over there, Hollywood drops the ball a lot. And he drops the ball a lot in critical situations. And Lamar Jackson has a memory for that. And if you watch, you can see a complete uptick going to Rashad Bateman as far as target share goes. I think we see kind of the apex of that today because I believe last week or the week before, no, it was last week, I believe they both had the same amount of targets, and I think you see Rashad Bateman actually out-target Hollywood Brown because he doesn't drop the ball where Hollywood Brown keeps dropping. And Ayuk's been just, Ayuk, he's been lighting it up. He's finally the guy we drafted.
Yeah, I think Hollywood is more touchdown dependent between these two, and Ayuk is slowly becoming more and more involved and starting to get more and more like he was last season. So they find ways to get him the ball, and it says it's PPR. So I feel like Ayuk will have more opportunity, so he'll have more catches, getting you more points there, possibly even a couple of rushes here and there because they like to throw their receivers in there in the rushing game as well. So I think the higher floor here is Ayuk, so that's where I'm going to go.
Absolutely can agree with that as well. Okay, so we got Meth Hendrickson saying OBJ or Mike Williams. Full PPR.
We can't overlook this. Joe just pulled a mic. He just tried to talk with his mic on mute. So
I had a feeling I was going to hit mute one time too many today. But yeah, you know what? I'm with you. Ayuk. Make it a 3-way. We all agree. Ayuk.
All right.
Okay, so we got OBJ or Mike Williams, full PPR.
For me, it's Mike Williams until I see OBJ and that offense actually do something. And not that I don't think he's going to, but we need to see it first. It's a pretty deep offensive playbook to try to learn in such a short period of time, and he's proven that he's not the smartest cat on the field. So until we see him get that offense down, I'm going to still roll with one of the more underrated wide receivers in the league, and Mike Williams.
Yeah,
I agree.
for me, it's
And
also
same
Mike
exact
Williams
reasons.
too. Oh, go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, same reasons. Same reasons until OBJ can prove. And I think by the end of the season, I think he might be looking really good for the Rams in time for the playoffs. But until he shows that, and let's be honest, I mean, the guy, it's 50-50. He's going to be injured probably within 3 weeks anyway. That's just his track record. But so he may never get into the full swing of things this year. But Mike Williams is having a pretty good year. He's with Justin Herbert. So I got to stick with Mike Williams as well.
Yeah, Mike Williams looked really good last week. I know he's one of those very frustrating people to play in fantasy, just because that guy can give you a 70 as quick as he can give you a 0. For me, I was laughing at that too. Chronic pain or something.
I want to know who he's talking about. Is he saying that Stafford is saying that he himself is dealing with that, or that OBJ is dealing with chronic pain? And if it's OBJ, it's chronic pain of the fingers because he can't seem to lock them around a football.
I thought it was a chronic pain of the ego myself, because it seems like he always has a tough time with that. But no, that's a full unanimous towards the non-OBJ route.
Okay, he was saying Stafford himself, back pain, and Stafford does have a history of that.
I was wondering if Stafford was referring to OBJ as the chronic pain.
He'll take some pills.
Already?
He'll be all right.
No, just being the chronic pain himself.
Already?
Yeah.
We got Chandler Damron. He says, Wentz or Russ, Mitchell or Sanders, Mitchell or Gaskin. So let's start this out. Wentz or Russ today, boys? I'm going Russ.
Russ.
Yeah.
Yep, 3-shot. Mitchell or Sanders today? I'm going Mitchell.
That one's tougher, but yeah, I think I'm going to lean Mitchell.
Yeah, Mitchell for me as well.
And for the 3-peat, Mitchell or Gaskin? I never choose Gaskin. It's always Mitchell. Whoever else. So Mitchell for me.
Yeah, Mitchell.
I'm starting the Bud Light guy who's selling beer in the stands before I'm starting Myles Gaskin. I'll just throw that back out there too.
Well, this week you're justified. Gaskin's going against the Panthers, so it's tough to start him most weeks anyway, let alone when you're playing a really tough run defense.
Even on a volume play, that guy had like 26 touches, and I think he got like 53 yards or something like that. I mean, the guy is just dreadful. I've never been a fan of his. I mean, I like the guy as a player and everything. He seems like he's got a lot of speed, but he's never able to put it all together. We got Big Rod, don't play. He says Hillard or Javonte. I think we've hit this one already, but I think you two were on Javonte. I was on Hilliard, so definitely want to go with who you're going with on that. But these two, I was outvoted 2-1. What about Mitchell or Gaskin again? We both said Mitchell.
Yeah,
it's weird that Gaskin's involved in so many questions. We got Meth back on here. He says deep full PPR league. He wants to bench one: Kendrick Bourne, Tim Patrick, and Nick Westbrook Ikine.
Oh man, that Nick Westbrook dude, that Ikine, I believe is how they've been pronouncing it. He's been coming on strong the last couple of weeks. I think if I'm going to bench one here, I'm going to bench Tim Patrick with the healthy Judy back. There's just too many targets to go around. I like Tim Patrick. I like him when he has opportunity, but I don't think he's going to have as much opportunity today.
I agree with you. I think
that Nick Westbrook Ikine is like the only guy to throw in or throw to in Tennessee right now. So we'll see how he deals with that kind of isolated pressure and everything like that. But yeah, I think he's a pretty solid play. I'm sitting Patrick in that group as well. We got Brett PF. He says, who should he sit? Hollywood, Waddle, Elijah Moore, or DJ Moore? PPR. This is a tough one. I'm sitting Hollywood.
Yeah, I'm with you. Elijah Moore's been coming on. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Justin.
No. Yeah, you're good. I thought you were done.
Yeah, I was going to say Elijah Moore's been coming on more and more over the past few weeks. DJ Moore, has been pretty solid. And between Waddle and Hollywood, I guess I got to sit Hollywood. And I think Bateman's getting, he's becoming the go-to guy very quickly which is what which I think Justin touched on before. Bateman's starting to become the go-to guy, along with Mark Andrews, of course, for Lamar. But oh man, Waddle, that's a tough one. I guess I'll say sit Hollywood, but That's a tough one.
We're 3 for 3. I agree.
Yep.
Excellent. Yeah, Hollywood might not even play, which makes that really easy. But I mean, even if he does, I think we all can agree that that's still not the play we're going to be making. We got this one. This is a good one right here. At Tony Cal 13 says fantasy football help needs Waddle or Bateman for the last wide receiver spot. And for all the reasons I was saying before, why I don't like Brown, I love me some Bateman today. So I'm throwing Bateman. I'm rolling Bateman. How about you guys?
Yep. That's 3 for 3.
Not even close in my mind. Bateman.
Yeah, Bateman's just been looking just hot fire. Memphis to Atlanta 89. Chase, McLaurin, Gibson, got to start too. Who we sitting?
Got to start too. I think we're gonna start. I mean, personally, again, it's the running back Gibson. I mean, I'm not thrilled with him as a starting running back this week, but I'm gonna still start him, and then it's Chase for me.
Yeah, we're talking Jamar Chase here.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'm only asking because for me, it's like it's not even a question. You're definitely not going to sit Jamar Chase, so I'm definitely playing Chase, and I'll take Gibson too. Mm-hmm.
Yep. I like. That's really tough because it's between definitely McLaurin and Gibson for me. The one I'm sitting right here, but I like the volume of Gibson, but man, he's been just such a letdown after such a letdown. I mean, he just keeps on destroying me. So, and it seems like every time I want to play McLaurin, he destroys me too. And then, except for the ones, like last week, he did really good. Hey, benching McLaurin. I think that's what I'm doing too, Rich. I'm benching McLaurin right here. Chris's videos. He's got he says bench McLaurin. He says Cam Newton or Russell Wilson.
I'm surprised we haven't had more Cam Newton questions, to be honest with you, because
right, same.
I give you a list of start-sit questions for my 19 leagues that I have to start the show off, and then towards the end, if we haven't talked about those players, I like to get some of those in. And I have a lot of Cam Newton questions myself because I picked him up in so many places, and he's proven he's got a great matchup this week. But then he's going against a great quarterback. So like what do you do? Like this is a very difficult question. And for this week, who does Seattle play? It's Washington. So it's another
Washington.
Great matchup. So I feel like you have to go with Russ here. They both the known good commodity here. Maybe Cam has just been more of a mirage because of him being out for so long. People not really expecting what they are seeing, and him getting used to, playing against other weaker teams or whatever. But Russ Wilson has to be the guy in this situation.
I agree
so
with you,
for me, I really like both of these guys and their matchups today and everything. Cam Newton has just been on fire. He's been everything. Like I was even saying, he might actually get that team going. And he sat Dak. Oh, that's rough right there. I don't say I blame you there either because Dak wasn't looking all that great during those previous weeks as well. But for me, it's Russell Wilson. I think Russell Wilson has a huge game today. I think he'll. I think he's going to be destroying that arm.
I think he's going to be looking better. Yeah, I think Wilson's going to be looking better coming back from his finger injuries that he was, he sat out for a few games with, and I think he's he's going up against the secondary of Washington that's not very good, and that's the problem with Washington's defense. So I think I'd go with Russell Wilson as well.
Excellent. We got the coach. Coach Shep says Elijah Mitchell or Dontrell Hilliard in a half-point PPR.
I'll go with Elijah Mitchell. And with that, I'll be back in 2 minutes.
I think I'm going to go with
Elijah Mitchell.
I think I'm going to agree with them. I'm going to go with Elijah Mitchell as well. I know a lot can be said about that Hilliard 10 targets last week, but I'm not sold that he's necessarily going to get that many targets, and he would need that many targets to outscore Elijah Mitchell in my mind. So I'm going to stick with Elijah Mitchell. The only downfall to Mitchell is his injury that is making him questionable is his ribs. So he's going to play, but If it's bruised ribs like that, then how much can you really tolerate? And a lot of times with running backs, you get hit the wrong way, you're out for several plays while you're trying to gather yourself. So that is a downside there, but I think I'm still going to go with Mitchell because he is the more talented back in that offense, and in an offense that utilizes their running backs.
I agree to an extent. I think Elijah Mitchell is probably the more solid play, but the fact that it's a half PPR here makes me lean towards Dontrell Hilliard. Again, I don't think this is going to be a positive game script. They really have zero options to throw to on that team right now. You got Ferkser, who's just been even like less than adequate this year, or even less than remarkable. So I don't know. I really think that I think we see Dontrell Hilliard get about the same amount of usage as he did last week, 10 targets. I think he can turn just like 6 of those into catches, into any kind of yardage. I'm seeing, maybe a 10 to 14 point run out of the guy this week. Whereas Elijah Mitchell, he's just not getting they're running Deebo Samuels out of the backfield, for goodness sakes. So, I mean, that's even cutting into his usage. So I can't Elijah Mitchell he's a tough fade for me, but I'm fading him, and I'm going with Elijah here. We got Meth with a tricky one for us. He said, here's a tricky one. Pick one, full PPR. A.J. Dillon, Devonta Freeman, Myles Gaskin, or Nick Westbrook, Ickney, or OBJ. Yikes, that is a tricky one.
Okay, there's a lot to break down here. So I'm trying to take a look at something here. Honestly, I think I kind of like Devonta Freeman here out of this group because I think he's got a decent enough matchup that he could do something. He has a decent amount of usage in that offense with the Ravens. Let's see. I think because AJ Dillon could potentially have a lot of his opportunity taken with Jones coming back. Gaskin, you never start Gaskins, right? So we can't start Gaskin. I think I like Devonta Freeman here, a mixture of matchup and opportunity. I think he's just the safer floor. If he gets in the end zone, then he had a great game for you.
This is definitely a pick that if I had hair, I'd be pulling my hair out. This is tough. You know what? I have to agree with Justin. I guess I think the safest one would be Freeman, but man, I'm also thinking Westbrook, Ickine, believe it or not. And if I knew more about Jones, like the thing with Jones is expected. Aaron Jones is expected to play, but he's banged up. Am I right about that?
Yeah, he's still banged up. Aaron Jones is still banged up.
Yeah, so man, I'd be so tempted to do Dillon.
I think that's why Rich is saying here, even if Jones starts, he's playing Dillon.
I think I'm going Dillon. Actually, I'm going to go Dillon.
And I'm actually myself. I'm leaning on Dillon as well. I think. I think even if AJ or if Jones does start, I feel like Dillon's going to be the guy that gets a good volume usage out of this game. For me, I like Devonta Freeman a little bit because he seems to be scoring week in, week out. It's never Gaskin. I just don't like the production coming out of Tennessee. And OBJ has just been, he's still learning that offense. To me, it's a little bit more complex than most of the other offenses, especially when you talk about every single moving part that team has, which is a lot. They've got a lot of good moving parts on that Rams offense. So trying to get that guy to fit in right there. So for me, it's actually Dillon as well. So luckily Joe saw the right and saw the light, and he got the right way in there, and we were able to get that 2-1 for us. This one we're going to go ahead and get we're going to give our man Justin some help here. He says Henderson at Green Bay, or Gibson versus Seattle, or Mitchell at Minnesota. And for me, it's Gibson, Seattle. I think Gibson gets plenty of usage, plenty of volume in there. I'd like it better if McKissick wasn't there, but he is. So give me Gibson.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Gibson as well. I'm not crazy about Henderson at Green Bay. I think Green Bay's defense has been pretty good. I like Gibson against Seattle's defense, even though Gibson, is scary. And Mitchell, like you were saying before, with Mitchell in San Francisco, some of his carries are getting scoffed up by by some other people. So I'll go with Gibson versus Seattle as well. And it's not even really that close.
And Steve, for what it's worth, says Henderson, and Rich says Gibson. So that's 3-1 Gibson, Steve. So take that.
Yes, yeah, Uncle Steve.
I don't know. I was really heavily leaning towards Henderson myself. So
this guy needs one quarterback, 6 points for all touchdowns. Cam at Miami, Cousins at San Francisco. Who you got, Joe?
Okay, Cam at Miami or Cousins at San Francisco. Touchdowns. All right, so you know what? I will go with I'll go with Cam at Miami.
yeah, so the 6 points for all touchdowns is the part that makes it tricky here, because Cousins could have 4 touchdown passes, and that would be 24 points. And then if Cam has 2 and 2 rushing and 2 passing, you're looking at 24 points. In a lot of leagues, that 4 points per touchdown pass would actually make you really heavily lean towards Cam, because you have 6 times 4 would be 24 for Cousins if it's 4 points per pass. You see what I mean? And then with Cam rushing 2 would be 12. So so the math gets complicated. So it would be like 20 for Cam, but then he gets more rushing yards too. So if it's 4 points per touchdown pass, you're leaning heavily towards Cam, and I think it's kind of much closer if it's 6 points for all. So
and he's, it's like Cousins is having a nice year, and he's got really good targets to pass to. He's got Dalvin Cook to hand off to as well. But think about Cam is he's got, for me, it's like what's a big difference to me is McCaffrey. He's such a safety outlet that you can just do like a 3-yard toss and he's off, so
yeah,
man. So I don't want to I'm not like jumping on Cousins. He's having a really nice year. And I picked Minnesota in this game at San Francisco, actually. But yeah, I'll take Cam at Miami.
So for me, I like Cousins. He's just been on fire, man. The guy's been too hot to fade, too hot not to start. Every single week, I keep saying that I don't think he's going to get anything done, and the guy gets 4 touchdowns. So for me, it's Cousins, and it's really not even that close. I do like Cam at Miami, but also Miami has a pretty stout defense when they want to. I feel like this is going to be one of those lower scoring games. I got to phase that. So we got the must flex out. So we hopefully didn't help you there at all, Justin. Must flex 2 of these guys: Bateman versus Cleveland, Stevenson versus Tennessee, or Coleman at Houston. And for me, this is quite easy. I'm sitting Coleman.
Yeah, I'm with you. I agree with you.
Yeah, sit Coleman there. Bateman and Stevenson are definitely getting the job done. We got Cam at Miami or Herbert at Denver. Denver has Chubb showing back up today. I think this one's Cam for me, but I can't sit Herbert either, so I'm going to say Herbert. I can't sit Herbert.
Yeah,
I'll agree with you. I'll go with Herbert at Denver.
Herbert at Denver, and we'll rapid fire through these. We need to choose one flex: Henderson, Gibson, or Mitchell. And for me, this is Gibson again. I think Gibson. I think I'm landing on Gibson here. I think I feel like
we already hit this one.
I thought we did too.
Yeah.
So we're going to do this one. David Johnson versus David Johnson.
Oh, sorry, Mike. That was just agreement.
Gotcha. Johnson versus the Jets foreman at New England, or Nick Folk versus Tennessee.
So the kicker gets the guaranteed points here. So
can you flex a kicker in this league or something?
Scott Fishbowl.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they have kickers this year. So the kicker is flexible, and he most kickers are at least somewhat flexible. but yeah, so you can get the guaranteed floor, and then Foreman getting most of the carries in New England. We already determined that they're probably not going to get much going with the run game. So you're pretty much looking at David Johnson against the Jets or Nick Folk against Tennessee in my mind.
I feel like Rex Burkhead's the guy I want to own on that offense. For me, it's Nick Folk versus Tennessee. As crazy as it is, I'm starting the kicker here.
Same here.
Yeah, I don't like David Johnson. I won't like David Johnson. I love David Johnson. Don't get me wrong. the guy's an amazing player. Oh, Joe stepping in there. He's saying, what? No, perspective. He's saying he's going Folk for that single game contest. Hell yeah, man. Folk is going to probably be one of the guys, one of the very few guys that actually scores in that entire game right there. We got A.J. Dillon versus the Rams, Latavius Murray versus Cleveland, or Judy versus the Chargers.
I'll take Judy versus the Chargers.
I actually think I'll take A.J. Dillon versus the Rams here, but I don't mind Judy versus the Chargers too. I think that that's going to be it's almost like I almost just like the running game against the Chargers though. So A.J. Dillon versus the Rams for me, but it's very close. I can see why you'd have this one. Latavius Murray is for sure an out. So
yeah,
doesn't look like we helped you again, Justin. And then we got need 2 Burrow versus Pittsburgh, Herbert at Denver, or Hurts at the Giants. Dude, I'm playing Burrow for sure.
I'm playing Hurts for sure.
Yeah, I think that's my answer too. I think it's Burrow and Hurts.
So you guys are starting Herbert over Cam Newton, but not over these two.
No, and not just because I just like their opportunities a whole lot better. Burrow against Pittsburgh, that was just a good high-scoring match last affair. And then Hurts at the Giants. Like, I mean, I think I just scored 4 points against the Giants just by walking inside of my house this morning because that's how little resistance there is to score against the Giants.
He's
so I mean, like to me, it's just so easy, and Hurts ought to have himself a day. Not that I want to sit Herbert. I like this situation, man. This must be one hell of a super flex. You need to be moving some of these guys.
No, it's a straight up. You don't get any flex at all. It's just a 2 quarterback league. So.
Gotcha.
I also have 3 other starting quarterbacks on that roster too that I'm not moving. So I got a pretty stacked team in that one. So
I'll go Hurts and Burrow.
All right.
So Hurts and Burrow. Well, guys, and Burrow and Herbert is what your man Rich is telling you. So definitely got a third opinion there as far as that goes. Well, guys, I think that's going to about wrap it up. I think we got all the questions caught up. It looks like we got everything going there. So make sure everybody get down there to toiletstotitles.com. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, give us a 5-star review. Even if you don't like what we're talking about, give us a 5-star review anyways, and just put on the 5-star review why you don't like us. Let's not be dicks to each other. It's a lot easier to get through life when we're all just being nice and helping each other get a leg up and get a leg out. And it's just huge what that does for us. Go to toiletstotitles.com where the best articles in the world you're going to read. We got our man Eric just constantly. Dude, this guy is such a good writer. And it honestly shocks me sometimes that we got him and that he's just accessible just by a click for me. All I have to do is message the guy and be like, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? But for other people, go on the website and it's just as easy. So, and you're going to want to check out all our other shows. We're damn near 7 days a week. The only day we're not is Friday, Saturday. So get on that like, subscribe. So you hit that bell, get going, get on the Patreon, get $10 a month because that's nothing these days. So let's do it. And that dude, that Frito Bandito is one handsome fellow. I heard tell that this guy's actually going to be putting out a Toilets to Titles calendar coming soon where he'll be featured in all 12 of the months. So Rich, you're just going to have to let us know when that releases. Steve loves that. And guys, that'll be it. Guys, do you have anything else to add before we take off?
No, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Everybody that has been watching us all season long, but especially the few that we had today, man. Appreciate you guys.
Yep, absolutely. And we'll get her done and we'll get you. We got 3 more weeks and we're in the playoffs and we'll help you then. So everybody, until next week, we will see you next time.